Hi everyone, my name is Coral Albertser and I work in marketing and comms for BPESA. Today we are doing an interview with Shoana Padayachee and this is about celebrating agent success in GBS. Shoana, over to you to introduce yourself.
Awesome, thank you, Coral. My name is Shoana Padayachee and I have been in the GBS sector for over 20 years now. I started off as an agent in the sector. Very excited to be moving into what was then new territory as a call center, coming from back office in banking. And I hated my journey. The first year, I wanted to leave every single day. But I stuck it out, and you'll hear through the interview that I actually fell in love with the industry, and everything I've done post that has been to either enhance what we do as an industry, to give back to the industry, and to grow the agent base, because I know what it felt like being an agent, and I wanted to give back to the agent community to ensure that we have longevity and sustainability as an industry.
That's fantastic, Shoana, and a 20-year track record in GBS. I think you are quite experienced and equipped in terms of, celebrating the agent journey towards success, and just such a prime example of the incredible opportunity that lies ahead for so many aspiring agents that come into our sector. So I think one of the questions that I'd like to explore is if we can just unpack how being an agent coming into GBS has impacted on your life.
Thanks. Yeah. So Coral, GBS, it's dear to my heart for one reason and one reason only. It's given me a trajectory. When I got out of high school, I didn't have a next. All I knew was that I needed to start working. I needed to help support the family, and I moved into banking. And when the opportunity came to reapply for my job, and I was successful in the call center with FNB, I saw it as a learning curve. And I took it and I went in. And back then, as an agent, you were kind of bottom of the barrel. So it wasn't a glamorous job. It wasn't something that you said as a high school student, oh, I want to be a call center agent when I grow up. So moving into the role, not understanding what it was, I was faced with many challenges. I grew up in the industry where there was so much strictness around how you spoke over the phone, the time you got logged onto your ACD, where you were 1 minute late. And these were not things that you gear yourself up for in your school career. So hated all of those protocols and stuff like that. And then I fell in love with it because I understood. I had tremendous leadership in the contact center industry back then. I had amazing team leaders and managers who really took the time to help me understand why you can't say okay on a call and why you didn't say bye and had to say goodbye. So it really taught me a lot of things like etiquette. It taught me tremendous leadership because I had experienced several different types of leadership in my total career as an agent. But it also gave me a passion for something. And it's something that I would never have recognized going straight into studies after school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So when I moved in, I jumped around quite substantially within FNB as an agent. I learned and I got to love different campaigns, but it taught me how to really sustain myself as an individual. It also gave me the opportunity to learn different things in the contact center industry. So I didn't just sit there and take calls. My job was never monotonous. And people who say that a call center job having to take call after call after call is monotonous has not experienced the growth that comes from being in the sector. So I learned customer service skills. I learned how to sell, even without selling. I learned how to troubleshoot on a computer. I don't need to call tech support when my computer doesn't switch on or when it freezes up. I've learned how to troubleshoot certain things that enable me in business to function without needing a tech support team, basically. I learned invaluable lessons in leadership. I learned how to be compassionate and how to show empathy. I learned how to transfer learning onto other people. Analytical skills. I mean, everything I am today is as a result of the GBS sector. So it's given me a trajectory, it's given me a career, it's taught me skills in a whole range of functions. I was an agent, I moved into project management, I moved into sales, I moved into customer experience, and these are all verticals that people kind of aspire to and are trained in. I have that entire skill set all because of the sector. I even worked in learning and development. I ran a learning and development contact center, learning and development department for over 12 contact centers. So again, all of which I have gained through the GBS sector and my involvement in the sector.
Well, I think that's quite incredible. And, you know, one of the exciting areas about GBS is, you know, how do we change the perception in terms of GBS as being a fallback plan to a number one plan? And I think it's just such an incredible testament when you talk about acquisition of cross-functional skills, and also not just career development opportunities, but impact on your life as a person, as a human being. And I think if we have a look at the South African context, and we have a look at vast unemployment rates and excluded youth that sit in this severe state of depression and anxiety in terms of where do they go, where is the opportunity, who helps them, is there actually a way in, is there a way to earn a salary, is there a way to provide for their family, and I think these are incredibly tough questions and challenges that many of our youth face without those answers. So I think one of the areas that I would love for you to explore is, or touch base on, is why is GBS so important for the future of South African youth, and what opportunity can GBS actually create for the youth, and what hope can it instill?
So I think GBS is fundamentally important for South Africa from a growth perspective, because it is one of those industries that can scale at a very rapid rate. So the jobs that are available within the GBS sector can be scaled within a short space of time. The entry to market, like I said, I left school and I moved into the contact center. So the entry to the sector is really that you need to know how to speak, that you need to know how to read and write. And these are skills that you get taught at a school level. So coming out of matric, you could find yourself applying for a job and getting a job successfully in the sector. I think also from a career progression perspective, what you do as an agent or what you do as a sector enhances the next generation, and so on and so forth. As people move out of agent roles, you tend to create space for new agents, and you tend to create new opportunities. Over and above that, South Africa is the number 2 site for global business services in the world. And we've achieved that through BPESA and the work that BPESA has done globally. So understanding that narrative, when people start investing in South Africa, these opportunities just become bigger and better for everybody within the sector. So what we've got to do is we've got to ensure that we have enough people that are coming into industry and that are staying in industry, because it's such a vast and a dynamic industry, regardless of what you enjoy. So whether you enjoy the marketing side of things, whether you enjoy the analytical side of things, whether you enjoy the people side of things, you're always going to have a position within the GBS sector, because it touches on every single aspect on business. If you look at the tech space, and I mean, when I was in school, I did computer studies, because back then MCSC was a big thing. But if I look at the tech space now, and I look at the opportunities that are created for our youth, my nephew loves gaming. So, and we thought, you know what, you're wasting your time in front of a computer game and those kinds of things. But that's going to help him when he goes to university, because he knows what he expects from a game. He knows what he wants to see. So when he creates, he can create from that perspective. He's no longer bound to rules of MCSE. And that tech space is picking up. But it's, again, a space that exists within GBS. That creativity can be applied once you understand the industry. You can look at how to enhance it using tech. You can look at how to enhance it using marketing skills and project management. So you're no longer bound by your traditional work in the sector. You're no longer bound by sitting in front of a desk answering calls. Yes, that becomes your platform, that becomes your starting point. But once you know that, you can then grow into any direction that you want. So for South Africa, it means additional jobs from an entry-level perspective. It means additional trajectory paths for a whole host of other roles within the sector and that support the sector. GBS also then contributes to the bigger ecosystem. So if you look at the amount of spaces that's required from a call center or a contact center, people require a building to be able to rent it out. You look at the infrastructure that it impacts. You look at the technology that it impacts, the software that it now starts demanding. And just recently, we were dealing with the township economic regeneration projects. And what that's doing is it's taking the barriers to entry that we've had as agents back in my day, where I needed to take 2 taxis and a bus to get to the office. If there was a call center closer to me, now I can get there on time. Now being late isn't an option for me. So the environment, the sector is transforming, it's changing to make it more accessible. And I think South Africa is going to see the gains from it. We're going to see unemployment decrease as a result of opportunities increasing in the sector.
I think that's fantastic, Shoana, and thank you so much for highlighting such important areas. And I think, platforms like National Pathway Management Network, they're also incredibly exciting in terms of such an easily accessible platform for youth to come onto and to create those spaces for opportunity and to get them connected up to the right pathways. And I think it's absolutely so important to grow this awareness about how GBS is transforming through digital and technology enablement to make it far more accessible and to move out of these concentrated zones and bringing the work opportunities into some of these more rural or excluded areas. So I think that's absolutely fantastic, Shoana. So if I was an agent, a prospective agent sitting here, and I had no clue what I wanted to do, I didn't have any tertiary education, I didn't have support from a family, and I was highly demotivated, what would your inspirational advice be to me coming into GBS and trying to show me the bigger picture of what is possible?
So, as an agent, and I'm going to, in this instant, Coral, talk to you like I would any one of my agents that I've led in the industry previously.
Brilliant.
So I normally engage with my guys and I ask them what they're passionate about. So if you'll play along, Coral, can you tell me what you're passionate about?
Well, I do have to say one of my biggest passions is not really business related, it's music. But other than that, I'm very interested in analytics and problem solving, and I love working with people.
That's fantastic, Coral, because in this industry, what you'll find is that even though you may feel like you're attached to the headset that's around your ears, this industry and being an agent in this industry provides you with a platform to excel in the areas that you're passionate about. You have a passion for people and you have a passion for analytics. Analytics is what makes this sector tick. So you might not see that on the outset, you might not see that answering calls, but once you start answering the calls, you'll soon realize that every single call that you take, every single customer that you serve corresponds to the ecosystem that you're driving. So the more customers we have that are satisfied in this particular industry, the better it is for you to grow and excel, because we'll need more agents, and as we need more agents, we'll need more leaders. And as we need more leaders, you're creating job opportunities for the people that you're so passionate about and the people interaction. So if I were to give you one piece of advice entering this particular industry, it would be that number one, you need to always be learning. There's always something new. There's always something exciting to learn in the industry. You are the custodian of the customer in your role. And knowing that, you can change the narrative. So don't sit there and look at the process and go, this is the process and this is what I've got to do. You can change those processes to help the customers at the back end of all of this. And those customers are driving our sector. And number three, you need to believe in yourself. So don't sit there as an agent and wait for work, because if you do that, you're never going to get into that analytical space that you want to get to. So you need to put your hand up at any and every given opportunity to go, I'm available to help, I've done my job. So do your job in a way that people will look at you and go, you know what, Coral's done that exceptionally well, and she's sticking her hand up for this particular project. Let me give her an opportunity so that I can see how she does. And it's through putting yourself out there, being willing to fail, being willing to get it wrong, and being willing to learn from every single one of those interactions that you are going to grow and excel in this industry. But nobody's going to give it to you on a silver platter. Leadership in this industry and in life is taken. John Maxwell said it beautifully. So in order for you to excel and to get to the places that you want to get to, the dreams that you have, the goals that you have, you've got to come in, you've got to step up, you've got to step into it, and you've got to own your space. So, and you can do that from behind your computer with your headset on. You can own that space.
So, Shoana, I think you've definitely shifted a gear in me, and I definitely can't think of a better ambassador for GBS agents as well as leadership. And I think anybody who has the opportunity to work with you, to work under you, to work collectively is really, really privileged. And thank you so much for these snippets of advice and these bits of insight. It's been tremendous. I think there's huge opportunity to explore further discussion themes around women empowerment, around balancing of work and personal life, as well as leadership, having gone through the ranks as an agent yourself. But Shoana, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for exploring these topics. I hope that you are feeling inspired as a prospective GBS agent, and I hope that for those of you sitting in a leadership position, that these are the kind of stories that you will be sharing to your agent base. Thank you so much, Shoana.
Thank you, Coral.